Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we use AI to break down the hottest political topics without any bias or emotion. Now, we all know Donald Trump is never far from the headlines, but what if we could predict his next big moves, specifically his stance on Gaza and his upcoming meeting with Zelensky? People are curious about how these events will play out, and more importantly, how they'll affect the world stage. But here's the big question. What's really going to happen next? Today, we're going to let AI take the wheel and predict the future of Trump's actions on Gaza and his meeting with Zelensky. We'll dive into the possible outcomes, uncover what's at stake, and see if Trump's plans are actually as impactful as people think. Sound intriguing? Then stick with me, because we're about to dig into all of that and more. But before we get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future updates. It really helps me out, and I publish new content every week. All right, let's dive right in. First, let's ask about the Trump AI Gaza video. By the way, if you haven't seen it, here it is. To me, it honestly looks like some kind of joke or a weird ramble from Trump. But let's see what ChatGPT thinks about it. What are Trump's motives behind it? And what's up with Elon Musk's awkward appearance in the video? The AI-generated Trump Gaza video, depicting Gaza as a luxury resort with figures like Elon Musk, seems to trivialize the region's complex realities. Elon Musk's inclusion appears to be an attempt to leverage his innovative image to endorse this vision. Trump's motive for releasing the video likely stems from his desire to reshape narratives and promote his agenda, even if it means oversimplifying sensitive geopolitical issues. Trump turning Gaza into a five-star resort in an AI video?
What? What the fuck?
That's next-level marketing. But let's be real, slapping Elon Musk into the mix doesn't make it any less of a fantasy. The whole thing feels like a weird sales pitch that ignores, well, reality. Classic Trump move: big promises, flashy visuals, and zero mention of the actual issues. If only fixing conflicts was as easy as an AI render. Personally, I think it's just a marketing stunt and pure hype. But since ChatGPT is our good friend, we definitely need to ask what it thinks about all this. Let's get its take on the situation. Turning Gaza into a luxury resort like in the video is highly unrealistic given the ongoing conflict, political complexities, and humanitarian crisis. It oversimplifies the deep-rooted issues that can't be solved with flashy AI concepts. As for Trump's intentions, it's unclear if he genuinely plans to make this a reality or if it's just political showmanship to push a narrative. He often uses bold imagery to gain attention rather than outline concrete policies. Turning Gaza into a luxury resort? Yeah, that's about as realistic as building a space colony next week. AI can make anything look pretty, but it doesn't change reality. The conflict, politics, and humanitarian crisis don't just vanish with a cool render. Classic Trump move: big visuals, vague plans, and a whole lot of attention grabbing. Whether he actually means it or it's just another PR stunt, who knows? The hottest event right now is, of course, the meeting between Zelensky and Trump. I'll be honest with you, I'm from Ukraine, so there's no way I'm not asking our friend ChatGPT about these talks. Let's ask it to analyze the actions and give us a summary of the meeting. The recent meeting between US President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was marked by significant tension and confrontation. Initially intended to discuss a partnership over Ukraine's rare earth minerals and progress toward peace negotiations with Russia, the meeting deteriorated into a heated exchange. President Trump accused President Zelensky of being disrespectful and ungrateful, suggesting that Ukraine's approach risked escalating the conflict further. Vice President J.D. Vance echoed these sentiments, criticizing Zelensky's public negotiations and perceived lack of gratitude for U.S. support. From an analytical standpoint, Trump's directness and frustration reflect a growing impatience with the ongoing conflict and the perceived lack of progress toward peace. However, publicly chastising a foreign leader can be seen as unorthodox and potentially damaging to diplomatic relations. Zelensky's insistence on securing robust security guarantees and his approach to negotiations highlight Ukraine's desperation for concrete support amid ongoing aggression. While his stance is understandable, the public nature of his negotiations may have contributed to the meeting's breakdown. The abrupt end to the meeting, cancellation of planned events, and the absence of a signed agreement suggest a significant strain in U.S.-Ukraine relations. This incident underscores the complexities involved in international diplomacy, especially when addressing deeply entrenched conflicts. Moving forward, both leaders may need to reassess their strategies, emphasizing private diplomacy and mutual respect to navigate the challenges ahead. Well, that escalated quickly. What was supposed to be a diplomatic chat turned into a full-blown argument. Trump calls Zelensky ungrateful, Vance backs him up, and now U.S.-Ukraine relations are looking shaky. Honestly, public call-outs like this don't help anyone, just makes things messier. If they actually want progress, maybe less drama and more behind-the-scenes talks would work better. And of course, just like everyone else, I'm super curious to find out what the consequences will be. And who better to help us figure this out than our opponent, ChatGPT? Let's ask it to tell us about the future relationship between Trump and Ukraine and what actions he might take next. After the meeting between Trump and Zelensky, Ukraine could face a few significant consequences. The strained diplomatic exchange may lead to reduced U.S. support or delayed aid, especially if Trump feels that Zelensky was too confrontational or ungrateful. The tension could also negatively impact Ukraine's ability to secure further commitments from the U.S. in the future. As for actions from Trump's side, it's possible that he may take a more transactional approach, emphasizing conditions or demands before any further support is granted. Given his history, Trump might also criticize Ukraine publicly or make unilateral decisions that affect aid or military support. However, any concrete actions will likely depend on how Trump views the future of U.S.-Ukraine relations and how he balances foreign policy with domestic priorities. Yikes! Ukraine might be in for a rough ride after that clash with Trump. If he sees Zelensky as too confrontational, we could be looking at stalled aid or some new conditions slapped onto future support. And let's be real, Trump loves making things transactional. Wouldn't be surprising if he turns this into a deal situation where Ukraine has to give something in return. Either way, this drama isn't over yet. Sticking with this topic, let's ask about Trump's current relationships with other countries. I know I have viewers from all over the world, and they're also curious about the political situation concerning their countries. Of course, let's make sure ChatGPT only gives us the latest news. President Donald Trump's recent foreign policy actions have notably strained relationships with traditional allies, including Canada and the European Union, EU. Canada. Trade tensions. Trump's administration imposed 25% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum imports, prompting Canada to seek alternative economic and security partnerships with Europe and parts of Asia. Diplomatic strain. In response to U.S. policy shifts, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau engaged in talks with EU officials, emphasizing the need for stronger ties amid changing U.S. policies. European Union. Trade disputes. The EU has been a target of U.S. tariffs, leading to retaliatory measures and concerns about escalating trade tensions. Strategic reassessment. Facing potential shifts in U.S. foreign policy, EU leaders are exploring deeper collaborations with Canada and other nations to counterbalance Trump's approach. Overall, Trump's recent actions have disrupted established international relationships, prompting Canada and the EU to seek new alliances and reassess their strategic positions. Trump's America First vibe is shaking things up. Canada and the EU are basically speed-running new alliances. With tariffs flying around and trust taking a hit, it's no shock that Trudeau and EU leaders are looking elsewhere for stability. If this keeps up, the US might find itself on the outside looking in when it comes to major trade and security partnerships. Wild times for diplomacy, and that's a wrap for today. So, what do you think? Will Trump's actions in Gaza and his meeting with Zelensky unfold exactly like we predicted? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. We've got some serious political drama ahead. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more AI predictions and breakdowns of the latest political moves. I'll be back next week with more updates you won't want to miss. Until next time, thanks for tuning in and keep those questions coming. Stay informed, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.